What's up, friends of the good mood? This is Manni and welcome to the second video on this brand new paramotor channel here in Germany, where I want to show you my entire paramotor training that I did in a compact course over 2 weeks. First week paragliding and then second week paramotor. That's how the compact courses usually look, and basically my entire journey to becoming a paramotor pilot. And you can see here the t-shirt. That's the t-shirt from the Flugschule Freeman, which is where I made my training in Bad Wildungen, near Kassel in Germany. And yeah, so basically if you want to know more about paramotor in Germany, guys, stay with me because I can give you a little bit of additional information on what you need to do, what you need to have, and you know, how much it costs and all that. Okay, so basically, but let's cover first what we're doing right here. In a compact course, when you don't have an A license for paragliding already, then you will do the compact course maybe, which involves paragliding basics in the first week, and that's what we're doing here. It's basically a low altitude winch drag. Okay, you see here, this is the winch down there at the transporter, or in front of the transporter. I'm hanging on the winch cable to attach to me, and I'm getting dragged just over the airfield, and that gives me some air time. And that's very important because it gives you time to feel the glider, to understand how it will react, and to get a good feeling for it, right? That's very valuable what you do here. Of course, you also have some Hangstarts in German, where you start from a little hill and then you just glide a little bit or something like this. And that's also part of it. But I have video footage here from the low altitude winch drag, and you see I have a bit of thermic going on. The winch has already long stopped to pull, but I'm having some lift ups here from the thermic that's going on over the field. So yeah, cool. And then the landing, of course, it's easy. You just lower yourself down and then you hit the brakes shortly before, and then you're coming down. But basically what you do over and over the course of this training is starting and landing, starting and landing. And not everything goes according to plan, as you see right here, where a lot of things have not really gone according to plan. And yeah, that's why you need to learn start, land 100 times. Not 100 times, but at least 20 to 30 times, because you must get that right, okay? I could sit my girlfriend Becky into a glider and drag her up, and then she will be able to fly if I explain this is right, this is left, and so on. She's gonna be able to fly that. She's never done anything like that, because that's really the easy part. The starting and the landing is what you really have to control and do right, and that's why this is what you're also gonna have a lot of focus on when learning to do this. This here was my first time with a higher altitude, getting dragged by the winch up to 200, maybe 300 meters. As you see right here, a lot more drag on, a lot more pull on the winch, and my the angle on my glider is very steep. With the brakes, and so that every drag that comes from the front will be translated into into getting up and climbing, basically. And this is how I reach about 200 or maybe 300 meters or something, and then I unplug the winch cable from myself. And basically what I'm doing now is the aerodrome circle. I'm coming with a 90 degrees turn, flying a bit forward, another 90 degrees turn, so that once altogether 180, and I'm coming back to where I started right now. I'm basically just flying completely for myself, for the first time really flying for myself with no cable attached, and coming back behind the airfield where I started, flying past the airfield where I started, or the starting point, and then another 90 degree angle, which you see right here, which is the Gegenanflug, or Queranflug, now Gegenanflug, which is the landing, basically. No, I'm confusing a few things. Now basically it's the Endanflug already, where you go for the landing. And it's exactly where I started now, just I'm flying a little bit too far. Unfortunately, I'm coming a bit too far, and that's yeah, but it's okay. Main thing is you land and start always against the wind, and that's what I've been doing here as well. You always have to start and land with the wind coming to you from the front. You're never gonna have your wind in your back, because that will make you run. You have to run so fast in order to start lifting up. Yeah. and that's a problem. So you're always gonna have the wind coming from the front when you start land. And here we're then in the second week arriving, feeling the power of the motor. I weigh 65 kilograms, and this thing has 78 kilograms of possible thrust at 100%. So much more power that I never dare to even use it in the course of my flight. I never dare to use it because I just haven't felt safe enough to do 100% yet. But that's my motor right here, the Parajet Maverick that I've gotten myself. I'm getting familiar a little bit with its power and how it works, and that's what I've been doing right here. And then of course ground handling. That's also something you do a lot in the in these courses, where you need to handle the glider right. You need to be able to get the feeling and make this glider do what you want to do, and that's what we have been doing here in this ground handling. However, you're gonna see it in a few seconds. Normally the lines would be crossed now, because imagine normally when you start, you turn around and you run from your perspective, you run this way with the glider behind you. So normally the lines are now crossed, so that when you turn around they uncross and then you can run. In this case, we have, for the sake of just getting a good feeling, you see that we didn't cross the lines. Normally they must be crossed now when it's in front of me, but then it makes the inputs, it reverses the inputs, and it's very hard to get to make the connections in your brain for this. So we had it just parallel, just so that I have some time to control this thing and make it do exactly what I want to understand how the glider works, okay? And in case you're wondering, in Germany maybe you are interested in paragliding or paramotoring, the whole course, with the whole compact course, costs around 2,000 euros, but it involves 7 subjects and around 900 questions for the theoretical exam, or Theorieprüfung, that you need to do. And then of course you have around 20 to 30 starts on a paraglider, and then another 20 or 30 on the paramotor, and then you have to do 3 Überlandflüge, so longer flights, and then the practical exam. And I have done pretty much everything except the practical exam and the long flights. I've only done one of those so far. The reason is the wind wasn't good enough, or the weather wasn't good enough. The wind is, it's better when there's a little wind, but the weather wasn't good enough so that I could cover all that in the 2 weeks. So I still have to go to Bad Wildungen near Kassel one more time and learn in the Flugschule, in the flight school, and make the last few hours of control until I can bring my own everything back to me at home, and then fly here near where I live, and then I record a ton of new video footage for you guys out there. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm still using basically the video footage that I've gathered during the 2 weeks, but once I've done my whole thing, then I will be able to do this with you guys and make some more videos here. Failed start attempts is what you see right here, okay? I'm doing the old thing that kids do when they fly, you know, they run around, woo, yeah! And that's exactly what I'm doing right here. Look, it looks exactly like a kid wants to fly. What I didn't understand here is that, first off, the ground handling with the glider in front of you is one thing, but having it behind you and you can't even see it with the helmet that goes like here, even if you look up, you can't even see your glider because the helm is in the way. And basically, or the helmet, and it's really hard. You need to feel the glider, and that's what we're doing here. And then you have the 23 kilogram or 25 kilogram with fuel on your back, right? And it just drags you down. It makes you slower. It's really exhausting also to run with this, and then trying to control the glider. It's also difficult at first. And what I did wrong here is I wanted to go the glider to make a right turn, right? So I should just need to do this and brake right, and then walk to the left while braking right, and this way the glider would have controlled itself and gotten back. But it was my first attempts, and I wasn't really good at it yet. Here again, the glider goes down to the left. I need to give an input to from the right, and then just walk to the left, and that would have worked. But yeah, so in time I got better at it. That's the whole, 2 weeks of the training course. And here, this guy in front of us is gonna start, and I'm jealous because I also wanted to start. My starting took a little longer because this guy was more experienced already when he came. And yeah, so basically, guys, if you want to know, paragliding in Germany first you need €2,000 around for the course, paramotoring. And then, of course, the whole equipment, which is included as a rental. It's included in the price. But if you want to buy yourself that stuff, the glider is like €2,000-3,000. The motor can be 4 to 5, 6, 7,000 euros, depending on what motor you buy. You need an you can't see it here, but there is a safety parachute in here that costs around 500 to 700 euro. There is a helmet that you need. You need the headphones. You need Funkgerät, a radio. Eventually, you need a lot of things, and that are quite expensive over the time. But of course, you can learn with a rental equipment at first, and then decide whether or not you want to buy yourself the stuff or just keep renting things. That's also a possibility, I guess, right? And here we have the Halt-Stop, Halt-Stop, Halt-Stop Übung. Everything was perfect. I could have started now, and you see I finally managed to have the thing under control, and I know how it works. And now my flight instructor tells me Halt-Stop, 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 which means, oh, something emergency. You need to cut off the engine immediately, and that's what I did. I cut the engine and I let the glider come down. However, he was mad at me because I should have stopped. I could have continued walking, or I should have still kept walking while the engine is off and the glider comes down behind me. And I stopped immediately because he said stop. And I really made this a little bit wrong. So here's the aborted start from my perspective, or a different aborted start from my own perspective with a GoPro on the helmet. And you saw me, lifting off with a engine on the back. It's really, this is by the way the throttle here. You just put it around your arm like this, and now it's like it hangs here. It's tight. You don't lose it, and that's the good thing. Then you have the cables or the lines over your arm when you start, and then you just start walking. If you have everything sorted out right. I just called propeller frei, which in English you would call clear prop before you start the engine right here. And now you hear the engine in the back. And I'm also doing some warming up the engine a little bit here. And you see, every time I give thrust, I do like that's the power of the engine and the torque, because the propeller turns leftwise, but the torque, Drehmoment, goes rightwise, counterwise, obviously, and so it turns you in a little bit when you do the full thrusting. So here's a start. Everything was working fine here with the starting. I had the glider under control. I felt that it's doing what I wanted it to do, and now I'm making a mistake. My flight instructor told me, you never start into the building. Go away from the building. But the wind was coming from the building, so I decided to go for the building, because this is where you have to start against the wind. What I didn't understand is I need to give a right input to steer, and then walk to the left to basically just turn the glider now towards this way, right? So that I can start not into the building. And because I was walking towards the building, he said, abort, abort, abort. And yeah. It wasn't the right way to do this. Next time I did it though, finally, my actual takeoff. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen, or here I go, finally, that was a different moment, but I had the glider under control, there was no stupid building in front of me, and I could just go and have a ton of fun. And finally start. By the way, in Germany paramotoring, I'm gonna make an FAQ video summarizing all necessary information for you in one video, but in case you're wondering already, you need to fly at a minimum altitude of 150 meters in Germany. You can only start and land on an airfield. However, there is the possibility of applying for an airfield next to your own home, or where you own a green, or where you know someone who owns a green. There is a chance for you to apply for your own airfield. And that's something I would like to do once I completed the whole training, right? That's what I'm going to try and do. Hopefully that will work. Because as I said, I'm not yet finished, but once I am, then I can fly around here. And this is loud. And I can then record more video footage from here. This is just finally the moment when you take off, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment when the whole weight of the engine, you carry this on your back like a backpack, and the moment you fly up, the weight of the engine is now carried by the glider, right? It's carrying every weight. And suddenly you just sit there in your seat and it's really convenient. Nothing pulls you down. It's just the perfect freedom and convenient moment then, and you fly, you have wind coming, you're no longer and it's just the best when you finally are in the air, man. I can't wait to finally get flying again. It's so amazing. It's such an amazing sport. And although I know had been an accident really recently, a very familiar or very well-known YouTuber, he had an accident and died. The sport is actually quite a safe one. You have the safety parachute and all that. And of course, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you don't hear about the millions of successful flights. You only hear that one unsuccessful one, right? Keep that in mind. Of course, you only hear the negative accidents. But overall, the sport is actually a relatively safe one. It's not like, of course, can always be accidents, but it's not like, every 10th start or something, someone dies, you know? It's actually the material is really good these days. And if you have the good material, you have your safety training, you do the right things, you pull your safety chute the moment you realize, oh no, something's going on, and you don't fly too low so that the safety chute has enough time to open, then there isn't really much that can go wrong right there. And of course, the most important thing is you need to fly at the right weather conditions, right? That's what often works wrong, that people see someone in the air and they say, oh, this guy is flying, then I can fly too. Doesn't mean that, because this guy may be flying for 30 years and he's an absolute pro, and you can't handle the glider in the same wind conditions, for example, right? These are kind of the moments that make people do the wrong decisions sometimes, and that can end up getting you killed or getting you in trouble. Really, it's important to do the right, weather checks and see if it's the right time to fly. And when all that is the case, then usually it's actually a quite safe spot, I would say. And now I was just killing it. Look at this climbing angle. Jesus, man. This is like a climbing angle of 60 or 70 degrees or something if you look at this. Look how I'm climbing. This is so sick, dude. And it's probably... And I don't even give 100% to the engine. It's like maybe 70%, 80%. I didn't dare to go with 100%. Because I don't want to get the glider into a Sackflug in German, which is where it just basically it loses its I don't know what the word in English is. But yeah, so this is my second video on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel and you like the content, you want to see more of it, then stay tuned for it. As I said, there's going to be more video content coming up. Also, the video where I show you here how I broke these propellers, because these are my propellers from my own motor. And I broke him. That's 400 euros. Boom, gone in 10 seconds. I'm gonna make a video and show you guys how this happened too. I have the video footage. I just want to make this a separate video. It's coming up sometime soon. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment down below. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, as brutal as a man can hit, for more. Thanks for bearing with me. You guys are awesome as always. Manni signing off. Until next time, bye-bye.